speaker. And so this is all about stress. Well, let me just read. Probably every one of us has had, one time or another, gotten so angry or so frustrated that we just plain lost it. Hopefully not so much now, because we have a lot of good tips. And then did or said something we later regretted, or found ourselves so wound up we couldn't even think straight. So Beth is going to share some ways to help our brains take control and help us stay cool and calm and avoid these unpleasant consequences. So Beth loves working with teams and individuals and organizations of all kinds to help stop the drain on time, energy, and results brought about by poor communication, interpersonal conflict, and stress. She has worked in a wide variety of settings, from healthcare to software development, to government agencies, to financial services, and many more, offering practical tools to help people be more effective, both personally and interpersonally, and less stressed in the process, which is always a good thing. Like when you're not stressed, your brain can think and be more creative, and she never tires of studying human dynamics, figuring out what makes people tick, and using the knowledge to help people live and work in greater harmony. All use more harmony nowadays. A passion fueled by eye-opening experiences, living and teaching in Asia, and traveling to many places around the world. So, would you please help me give a warm welcome to our member, my colleague, Beth Weisberg.
So, it was great to listen to all of your ideas, and I mean, I picked up a couple of things, so thank you, and I hope everybody was listening. I heard a lot of emphasis on breathing, and I loved it when Beth said, and I take more deep breaths, because that's one thing we're going to talk about. Sometimes one deep breath doesn't get you there. So we are going to talk about that a little bit. And I also loved what David said about it being a roller coaster, because that's absolutely true. So I posed this question last week at Successful Thinkers as kind of a teaser for today's topic, and I asked the question that Joanne just alluded to. Yeah, thank you. Have you ever in your life gotten so angry or so frustrated that you just lost it? Yeah, see some heads nodding. I saw lots of heads nodding last time. Or, we do or say something as a result of that later we're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Why did I say that? Or we get ourselves just tied up in knots, and then we're not able to think straight. We can't even think about what to say or how to act in the situation. So anybody got a quick story that you'd be willing to go public with of a time that you lost it? Oh, thank you.
Especially because the situation is still open.
Uh-oh.
I've been a doctor for 25 years, and I don't know if this has ever happened before, but it was a few months ago with a patient that was so horrible and so rude and so angry and so, I have a lot of skills with talking to people and diffusing stress, and I had to actually excuse myself and get up and walk out of the entire office. And when I came back, I was a little better. But let's just say, don't read about me on Yelp.
Or look for this name.
Anyway, so that's the situation. If you want me to tell you more, I can.
That's great.
It's unresolved, so I'm open to.
Yeah. So I said a quick story, okay? So now I've got one for you that happened in the office of a client of mine very recently. In fact, I'm still dealing with the fallout from this. That's what they brought me in for this. So it involves two employees, let's call them Sally and Wendy. Okay, and it's the beginning of the day. Wendy arrives first, and then Sally comes in a little bit later. So Sally comes in, and she says to Wendy, "You didn't turn on my PC." And Wendy comes back with, "Well, it's not my responsibility to turn on your PC." And Sally says, "Well, you know, we're supposed to be a team. I need you to have my back." And by now, Wendy's getting a little hot under the collar, right? And she just says, "You're always so mean to me. You come in every day in a bad mood and you take it out on me." Well, through all this, Wendy's voice is getting louder and louder, and Sally's trying to shush her because she's making a scene right there in front of patients sitting in the waiting room. So this is like your situation a little bit. And so Sally's trying to get Wendy to shush, and Wendy's not shushing, you know, she's just getting revved up. And so Sally gets frustrated because she can't get her to be quiet, and she takes her hand and over her mouth. Well, yeah, I hear all these reactions. Needless to say, all hell broke loose after that. And that's when I was called in to clean it up, right? Because, I mean, they were imagining lawsuits, you know, just all this kind of stuff. So, you know, so what are some possible negative consequences that happen when we do lose it, when we lose our cool?
We put important relationships at risk.
Okay, important relationships at risk. Get fired, yeah.
Bad feelings.
Lose a client.
Bad feelings.
Bad feelings.
Get a bad Yelp rating.
Bad Yelp rating, yeah. What?
Reputation, same thing.
Reputation.
Get sued?
I think it's good for you to lose sometimes, you know?
Well, it's absolutely maybe true, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're talking about those times when it's not good, okay? And we've all probably been there, or at least been the recipient of it, right? Even if we didn't lose our cool. So, you know, at a minimum, we come away embarrassed, right? Because our behavior wasn't as it should have been. And maybe there's further escalation, as there was in the situation that I just described to you. So, you know, is this what we would choose? Is this how we would choose to be?
No.
No, not at all. I mean, we want to stay cool, calm, and collected, except in the cases that that you're talking about, Lori, okay? And they're there, absolutely. But most of the time, we probably want to be cool, calm, and collected, in control of the situation. Is that a safe assumption for you?
Yep.
Thanks. Okay. So how come we didn't make better choices in those circumstances? I gotta tell you, you can blame it on your brain, okay? Because we have this part of our brain called the amygdala. And this is what Dan Goleman, in his book, Emotional Intelligence, calls an amygdala hijack. That's what you just experienced. And the amygdala is that part of the brain right at the base. It is the most ancient part of our brains. It developed before anything else. And it has one job. And you know what that job is? Protection. Keep you safe. Keep you out of danger. And when it perceives a threat to you, it essentially screams, "Danger!" And that starts a whole cascade of hormones that rush to various parts of our bodies so that we can act quickly to save us from imminent death. I mean, that's what it's thinking, okay? Every threat it sees as imminent death. Now, what's happening to the thinking part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is the newest part of our brain to develop? Essentially, it shuts down. Now, why is that? It's because we need all the resources rushed to all parts of our body so that we can do that fight or flight thing, right? We need every resource in our body. So the thinking part of the brain shuts down in order to release those resources to the rest of the body. Now, what is the prefrontal cortex responsible for? It's responsible for understanding, deciding,